Hi there, and welcome back to Parent Chat Videos. Today's title is College Choice. Well, what I'm going to discuss with you is actually how to create a mindset in your child or your teen that the only choice about attending college has to do with which college he or she will attend, and not whether or not he or she will attend college. So if you start to create that mindset and get it to really like sink into their mind that the only choice I have is which college to attend and not if I'm going to go or not, then you would have more chances of, achieving successful results. So this is how I did it with my child. I basically told her that she's not going to own her own life and make her own decisions for herself until she earns her first bachelor's degree. It needed to be a 4-year degree. Now, those are my standards and those are my requirements for my daughter. And the main reason that I really wanted her to attend college right out of high school and get at least a bachelor's degree was because I always wanted her to be able to support herself. I wanted her to be educated and focused on a career path that she truly liked, and that's something that she was actually going to pursue. I always want her to be able to support herself and her lifestyle, because especially when you have daughters, you really have to be careful on whether or not they can support themselves, because what you want to try to avoid is your daughter being in a situation where she's stuck in a relationship that may be abusive, and maybe she won't be able to get out because the control on money, or feeling that she's not educated to survive in life without a particular man that is not being nice to her or treating her properly. So those are the things that were very, very, very important to me. That was on my priority. The other reason why I needed her to go to college was because when you're in college, that whole life experience is so worthwhile, because you not only learn the career path that you want to get into, you also learn resilience, perseverance, because just because you want to major in a certain topic, or in a certain career path, you already know what you want to do and you pursue it. You get to college, and guess what? Sometimes it may be 1 or 2 years before you actually are taking courses in your major that you desire to learn about. That teaches perseverance, resilience, right? Because you have to go through the process. You need to take your core requirements. You still got to take all that stuff that you just took in high school. You need to retake it at the college level, and all of that, prepares you for your junior and senior years in college, where you are mostly focused on just what you're majoring in. So that is also some things that I really wanted her to learn. I wanted her to learn that it takes small steps to reach big success, that it takes time to achieve a certain goal. Okay, another reason why I really needed and wanted her to go to college was, when your child goes to college, they're in a safe environment to explore different opportunities. Okay, and what I mean by this is they can get into student government and start to learn the diplomacy of different states, and how how everything works. How what is it like to be a secretary or a president of a club? What is it like to be, a part of a nonprofit organization that, helps a certain cause that's within your campus? You have so much opportunity to go ahead and practice and learn these different skills that you're going to be able to utilize once they graduate from college, and then they're in the real world and they're working for an organization or whatever that they decide to do after their bachelor's degree. And so I just really needed her to be in an environment in which you can make mistakes. You're not going to get fired. Yes, you can get expelled, but I mean, you'd have to do something very, very extremely drastic to get expelled from college. But I guess my point here is that, it's a way that they can really learn in an environment that supports the learning process. They don't need to come in and know what they're doing yet. They're being mentored and trained, and they are set up to success. They're set up to be successful, but they're also set up to get the support when the outcome may be not as favorable. Okay, so that's very important in going through that whole college experience as well. And another reason that I really needed her to go to college was she was an only child, and I really needed her to understand the different cultures, the different ways of people, how they live, their choices, where they're from, just learn all kinds of different things, which is the reason I allowed her to dorm for 3 out of her 4 years of college. So she started dorming when she was a sophomore. And let me tell you something, it was the best choice I've ever made for my family. And I only lived like less than 5 minutes away from her dorm. Literally, just right down the road is where I had my house, my condo, and her dorm was just down the street. But it allowed her to grow as a person. It allowed her to learn money management, time management, how to get along with people, how to really understand what it's like to kind of be a grown up, but still be, protected. I didn't allow her to live off of campus. I needed her to be in the dorms, following the rules, going along with, whatever the school set aside as what the policies were. Because, I needed some type of barriers and some type of boundaries, right? But overall, I told her that the college years, if you follow the rules and you follow the guidelines and you do what you're supposed to do, then, you could have a really good, experience there that you're always going to be able to reflect back on when after you're done college and you enter the workforce and you learn what it really takes, to be in, the real world, working, paying taxes, managing money, your responsibilities, paying your rent, paying your bills, how to navigate through all of that. So I really believe that, her dorming at college really helped her to kind of get practice with all of that. So I encourage you to teach your child that they do have a college choice, and that is which college they would like to attend. And there's really nothing wrong with trying at a community college. When I go and do workshops and guest speaking, I like to ask them, a few questions, because it's always about perception, yeah. And a lot of times they would tell me, oh, you went to college right out of high school, and you got right into a regular university. And I just let them, assume what they think that I have done in my life. It's not the track that I wanted my child to be on, but it is, my experience, and it molded me into who I am today. And so the answer to that is no. I started at community college. I didn't start at a 100 level. I had to take courses under 100 to get to that level. And it just took, a lot of time and hard work. But, I was able to get through it. And a lot of times, I hear people say, oh, my child can't go to college because he or she is not smart enough. Or he or she, doesn't have the discipline or the focus. Well, those parents who think that way, I want to let them know that colleges set up support systems. Colleges, when you do their placement exams, that's what they're made for, to place your child where he or she currently is at the academic level. And there's nothing wrong with starting there, because that is just going to either teach them new skills or help them brush up on whatever skill set that they have, but it will get them to where they need to be in the steps and in the process. So I encourage everyone to go to college. And I actually, well, my daughter tells me that I preach this, but I don't think I'm preaching this. I just think that I'm, encouraging people out there. So whenever I see a young person at like a grocery store working, or a drugstore working, I don't want to name brand names, or even at a bank, and I ask them, oh, so you're working here? Are you attending college? And if they tell me no, then I encourage them to go to college. And they say, oh, but I have to work full time. Okay, well then just take 2 classes. And then they usually come back with, well, I don't know what I would take. And I'll say, well, don't worry about that, because you have to take your core classes anyway. So just start somewhere and start the process. And then maybe you get exposed to something that would really interest you. And then maybe you'll shift from working full-time to part-time and going to school part-time, And so, I encourage, everywhere I go, I always talk like that. To the point where when I was doing this and my daughter was still in high school, she stopped going to the store with me, because she was just like, it's going to end up to be such a long trip to the grocery store, because you're just going to talk to everybody, encourage them to go to college. I said, yes, I am, because you never know, whose life you're going to change, So I have a true story about what happened with this, what I've done. So I always used to go to this one bank, and this young girl, she was like, 20 years old, and she had a baby, and her baby was going to be 1. And she was a single parent. Her and her boyfriend broke up, and so she's working full-time at the bank and has a 1-year-old daughter. And so every time I would go to the bank, I would ask her questions and say, do you ever think about going to college? She's like, no, I can't, because I have a baby, and I have to work full-time because I have to support my child. And so I would continuously talk to her, say, as a single mom, you have a lot of opportunities. There's scholarships available. The federal government provides grants. You would even be able to qualify for a child care assistance, and then you could be in a career field that you really like, and maybe you can find something that you're really passionate about, And she'll say, oh, okay, thank you, for always talking to me and encouraging me, you're so inspirational. I said, well, thank you, I just want you to know that you do have options, and just because you have a child that you're raising, that that you don't have any choices, because you do. So that's what happened. And then about 4 years later, I was in a yogurt shop, and this little girl was about maybe 5 years old, and she was having a hard time opening the bathroom door. So I went over to help her because her mom was at the counter, and help her open the door and everything. And then this young lady comes up to me, and she says, "Oh, thank you for helping my daughter." I said, "Oh, no problem." And then she said, "Oh, I remember you." And I said, "Oh, you do?" She's like, I'm the one that used to work at the bank, and that's my daughter now. She's 5, and I remember talking to you when she was 1." And I said, "Oh yeah, hi, how are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I just want to tell you that you changed my life." And oh, I was so touched. And she said, "I just want you to know that I went to school, and I'm still pursuing my degree, and everything you told me was true. I got scholarships, and I got grants, and I got childcare help for my daughter, and I went to school, and I went to UH Manoa first, and then I know she said she started at community college first, and then she transferred over to UH on the Big Island because she wants to be a pharmacist, and there's some type of program on a different island in Hawaii." And she said, so I transferred over there, and that's where we live now. And she says that she has all the resources that she needs, and that she was just so thankful that I shared that information with her. And she said, "My life is so different. I'm doing what I'm going to school to do what I really want to do." And she said, "And the best thing I really want to thank you for." And I said, "What is that?" And she said that I'm a good example for my daughter, because I want my daughter to see me working hard, and that I'm going to be able to work in a field that I really like. And then hopefully when she gets through high school, she goes straight into college, and then she fulfills her dreams." And so she gave me a hug, and she said, "I just really want to thank you for changing my life." And I just felt so happy, and I finally got the reinforcement that all that talking to all those people, that one person that I know of, because the others I maybe just didn't run into it yet, yeah, but at least one person really did take my advice and actually pursued her college dreams, and then was on her way to a very promising career path, and also being able to earn enough income to support herself and her daughter, and then have her daughter view that as the example in her life. So that's why I really think that college is very, very important for every child to attend. Every teenager out of high school should attend college. There's no reason for them to feel like they are not smart enough. Financially, there's all different options to take advantage of. I mean, there's grants, there's scholarships, there's all kind of opportunities, and I would really encourage you to train your child to think in the mindset that yes, you have a choice. You have a college choice. You can choose which college you like to go to. Sorry I got emotional, but just sharing that story, Oh, and give you a little update. After that happened, I had called my daughter, because by that time she was already dorming in college. And I called her up and I said, "Hey, guess what? All that talking and everything, all those young adults that I talked to, well, at least I know that one of them actually did that, and she's going to school." And I told her the story. And she says, "Oh, wow, Mom, I'm so glad somebody listening to you." Because she doesn't have a choice not to listen to me, right? She doesn't have that choice, right? Because I pretty much made that the standard. And so she, my daughter, she kind of, when I told her that she doesn't own her life, this is exactly what I told her. I said, "Listen, you don't own your life until you earn your first bachelor's degree. You need to have a 4-year degree. After that, if you want to do a master's degree or another bachelor's, that's fine. But until then, you don't own your life. I know you're over 18, but I'm still the boss applesauce. That's what I told her. And she didn't know anything differently, so she believed me and listened to me and knew what the rules were and what was expected of her. And so then she came to me after her first year, when she went to a community college for the first year, and then she transferred into UH Manoa, and then she dormed in that her sophomore year. But in her first year, when she was at community college, when she started learning how to, do her schedule and then take her classes and then understand how many classes she has to take and how to modify everything and how to make it all fit and everything, she came to me and she says, okay, Mom, so I have a question, because now it's going to take like 5 years to get a degree. I said, yeah, sure, 5-6 years sometimes, depending on what you major in and what the degree requirements are. She says, okay, so I have a question for you. So let's say I go to school every summer, and some semesters I take 5 classes or even 6 classes, and I finish in 4 years instead of 5 years. Does that mean I get to own my life 1 year sooner? Oh, she cracks me up. And I said, yes, it does, because you would have earned your bachelor's degree. So the answer to that question is yes. And she's like, so I would be able to be a grown-up and make my own decisions for my life 1 year earlier? I said, yes. She says, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And she was so motivated to make her own choices in her life and be like a real grown-up that's what she did. She went to school every summer. She did her community service for her scholarships. She took sometimes 6 one semester she took 6 classes, and she said she'll never do that again because it was too much. But she never ever dropped one class. Not even one class did she ever drop. Even if she was struggling in it, she just went through it because she felt, if I drop this class and I have to retake it, it just prolongs the time to where I own my life. So that's what really worked for me and my family and my daughter, to just keep her on track and focused on, the importance of college and what the motivation was to get through it. It was for her to be able to make her own choices and become, a real adult in the real world, which is really what she wanted to do. So thank you so much for listening, and especially your patience in, seeing this whole video to the end and allowing me to share that personal story with you. I hope you found this to be useful, and I hope some of the tips and suggestions that I provided for you, you be able to, implement within your family, and hopefully your child would be able to view the importance of going to college and earning that first 4-year degree. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. As always, happy parenting. Goodbye now.